Okay, Ron, are you ready?
Very.
Okay, because this is It's Just a Model, a series of ongoing conversations on the interstitium, very important word, of innovation, design, philosophy and tech with my friend Ron Kersic and myself, Peet Sneekes. You can find us on the internet. Please help us have jobs.
Please.
And I need a job. No, it's fine. I just heard about an interesting assignment I just did. And so I'm kind of, retrospectively, I'm known to make speculative design. I'm not sure if you're familiar.
Yes.
It's for the people at home, it's design for conversation. Basically, you show something and you don't tell anything to them. And you say, okay, what do you think? And they say, it's horrible, or it makes me think of murder, or I don't know, of plants. And that's basically the point of the design, so etc. So I make a lot of speculative design because I find interesting things interesting. And I like to shape it in things that are kind of like a little less unconventional. And so I just got the feedback that the client said, well, I'm not sure if I want to sign it. I made a poster with space for them to sign, to put their autograph there. And they say, well, I'm not sure if I really want to sign this. So basically, we make them think about this possible future that they step into. So it was lovely. Really, I was kind of proud of myself.
It's a bit like the architect Frank Gehry, that he made Shrek models.
Shrek models?
Shrek.
What is it? Like the Shrek, as in the cartoon movie?
Yeah, and the cartoon is named after, I think, a Yiddish term, Shrek.
No.
Right, and you can probably also hear the German in there, Shrek.
Yeah.
It's
like a monster kind of thing.
Yeah,
or no?
fear.
Oh.
And it's the
Shrek.
Yeah. Schrik in Dutch.
Yeah.
So he passed away recently. Famous architect, right? And typically when architects make models, they're all fancy, gleaming aluminum, and he made them out of bin liners, and so that he could have a conversation about the thing, the shape, its position, not the funkiness or the fanciness of the material.
Yeah, the aesthetics should not be distracting, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, always thought that was very inspiring for whatever reason.
It is. Yeah, that's kind of like why I like making prototypes.
Yeah.
Because it's obvious that the medium shouldn't distract from the actual act.
Yeah. And that's why I typically have I like to think, polished presentations.
Oh, because it really needs to show this is finished.
Yes.
There's no I'm not asking you. I'm telling you.
And sometimes I come with just a big doodle. Just lines and circles and arrows pointing to things in space, etc. And it's so last week I also did that, and a colleague of mine thought this was such a piece of rubbish that he just penciled over everything, and I thought, that was actually my work. You're kidding, he said. That was work? I said, yes, that was work.
But at the same time, that's awesome.
That was my Shrek model.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. There's a new word. Link in the show notes.
Absolutely.
By the way, did you know the show notes are as interesting, well, arbitrarily, as the conversation? So we like to think the conversation is interesting.
I actually like to think we have this conversation so we can get to this cool list of show notes.
Yeah. Really. So I put them in the various locations, and to me it's like, oh, that's interesting. So I start reading, and all of a sudden, then the episode is late. Yeah, there's nothing to do about it. So I think we talked about it earlier in previous episodes. But I want to talk about destructive design. I'm not sure, did we talk about it, or was it just one of our notes?
Probably, or maybe not, but I love the term already.
So destructive design or destructive innovation is basically making things and introducing things new, and it haphazardly or intentionally destroys the old version of it. So let's say if we have the loom, for example, it was a manual loom.
Yeah.
And then we got machines like steam machines and motors, and they made things faster. And we also invented the punch card, so we can program the loom. And it made like an entire industry of people working obsolete.
Yeah.
And that's basically destructive innovation.
Yeah.
It destroys like a big part of our society, a big part of an industry, or an industry altogether. And it kind of disturbs me because, and we talked about the lexical gap in the previous episodes.
Yeah, that's one I can remember.
And the lexical gap is basically things that we don't have words for, but are definitely have changed. Just watch the previous episodes, and it's pretty much well explained over there. But the lexical, I feel like a lot of lexical gaps appear in spaces where destructive innovation takes hold. And to me, it's like, okay, how can we make sure the impact of destructive innovation isn't that big? Because sometimes when we introduce a thing, it's not a success, or at least it is like a success, like a mass implementation, but we find out it's not good. It's not healthy, for example, for a society. So one of the things is, for example, social media or mobile phones. Now we decided it's bad for kids, and it will probably end up in being bad for everybody. You know, it's similar to smoking. Smoking is bad for kids. Well, obviously. But to me, it's like, okay, this is just one of the few steps that we take to say, okay, social media is inherently bad. As we know it right now, it's inherently bad for pretty much everybody. It's not for the weak-minded, like children or like people that are less educated. It is bad for everybody because it taps into very base behaviors. And I found, so what do you do when such a thing is introduced? What do you do if destructive innovation has taken place and you basically want to undo this, right? You basically want to Apple Z this entire action, but we can't. So there are a couple of things that popped into my mind. One is software. When we build software, we basically build it to fail. We have an extreme version of that. It's test-based development. It's basically you bake all the tests that what might go wrong and then you build the software. So when you put out the software, you basically say, okay, I know all the things that can go wrong and I don't have red flags, therefore it is okay, right? It's a very robust way to build it. And in software, we can also say, okay, this is a feature that basically didn't work. We roll it back, right? We undo the rollout and we replace it with something that was previously there. But apparently we can't do that in real life. We can't Apple Z social media or mobile phones.
No. It's called path dependency, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So it's fascinating to me because I feel like we should, right? We should, with the rollout of social media, we should have had some way of, a robust way. Perhaps social media or mobile phones isn't the best example. Let's say digitalization of everything, like bank services and like services of municipalities and stuff like that. It is nonsense to expect of people at this moment in time that people know digital design and know where to go to expect certain things, because digital on itself is quite ephemeral, right? It's very when you shut off the screen, it's not there anymore. Yeah. So it lacks certain things, right? There's the lexical gap. It lacks the same fidelity and same addressability of a person sitting behind the desk that will help you figure things out. There is no digital equivalent for that. And I feel like, let's say if you roll out such a service as a municipality, like make everything digital, then you should have like redundancy or a way to roll it back or an exception or whatever.
Well, I mean, what you call destructive innovation? Design?
Let's say destructive innovation because it's new, right? It's inherently with new things.
Yeah, so what I, as a part-time professor in innovation management, had to say that. Would call is system innovation. And you can see that I'm a part-time professor in innovation management because I forgot the authors of this term. But the link will be in the show notes. It's on the tip of my tongue, literally. It's the. No, I mean, so in innovation, people often think that innovation is the thing. It's a new device or whatever. But more often than not, the most impactful innovations are innovations in the systems surrounding the thing, right? And what you were talking about is in the end that you are affecting a system.
Yes.
Right,
but that's not what's being built,
and that is the point I was getting to. Right, I mean the reason why we get these effects is because we don't see it as a innovation of the system or a change in the system. We actually assume that the existing system will prevail, and we force feed or atom smash the new thing into the mold of the existing.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's the and
expecting it to act similar.
Absolutely, and the whole digitization of municipality services is literally digitizing the existing system of service.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I'm pretty sure this is correct. But if I go to the website of my municipality, on their website they actually have loketten. It's the things you can go to, right? It's literally the same word.
Yeah, like the windows where you go
the
to,
windows
where you expect like the lady.
So it's almost like a skeuomorphic.
It is.
It is, right? And then things go wrong because the new medium is not like that.
No.
And I think with social media, the same thing. Right, we treat social media, I think, because I'm probably one of the few people that actually enjoys social media. And I have to say that as somebody who was glued to X for the whole weekend, it's amazing what's on there. Really, it's but we treat it as a newspaper, right? With content made by journalists that are upheld back then to a journalistic standard. To be honest, not all journalists do anymore.
No, also in the past, it is a misnomer because everybody is slanted, and some are even like sponsored by slanted.
And you see the same thing with AI now. Right? See, it took us 10 minutes something to get. No, but you see the same thing, right? We take generative AI, and we automate certain things in organizations, and we never question if the organizational form is still actually suitable for generative AI. No, we just take the existing things, we automate what we can with generative AI, and what's left over is for people.
Right.
The gaps in between is for people. And everybody is happy, and then we're all wondering why it actually doesn't bring any change, actually, or actually that the impact is a negative one.
Well, if we measure, because that's the biggest mistake of all.
Of course.
We don't measure, we measure the new thing, but and like all the things that it does, and if it does it well, but it doesn't measure the thing that was, and whether or not the same effect is being. Well, you can do a baseline, for example, but then you probably also do the baseline of the future service rather than the impact that it might have societally or whatever kind of thing.
Or we take the measurements of the previous system, and then we don't see any change, so we say this stuff is crap.
Yeah,
right. There is this very famous quote. I think it's from Solo. Economist, is that back then it was called IT. IT shows up everywhere except in the productivity statistics.
That's a brilliant quote.
It's a brilliant quote
because it's true. It is true. I think productivity is both a misnomer, but also a nonsense. A goal for an organization to have.
But that was the yardstick for the corporation then. And it still is for many corporations.
Yeah, it's the old model. It's the factory model.
It's literally the factory model. And then somehow IT doesn't show up in improving the factory model, or at least not to the extent it was touted to. And you see exactly the same thing with generative AI. See, it doesn't do any productive improvement. Yeah, maybe that's not the measurement.
It's similar to the big AI chiefs of staff. It's like they used to measure the amount of code that you wrote as a coder.
Yeah,
it's like, well, that's odd.
Yeah, that's odd.
Because a really great coder, arbitrary, is like a coder that makes as least as possible code.
Yeah, and over time even negative.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was a programmer,
it's like delete the things.
When I was a programmer, I'm not sure if I was a good one, But I did have a reputation that once I had my baseline that was working, then over time, that means every weekend, the number of the lines of code would decrease.
Yeah,
which I thought was a good thing.
Yeah, it's optimizing, right? It's making things charming code.
It is. Yeah. It is. It's more readable and it's more and you can actually read my tests. So test-driven development, I have to correct you, Peet. It's not just the things that can go wrong. It's also the things that should go right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I stand correct or sit corrected.
Because I always used to spend lots of time on my test up front. So the names of my tests, when you read them, should actually be the manual of the software.
It is, yeah.
And it is.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it says in the manual of test-driven development.
Yeah.
It's like write what you expect of the thing to do, and write what you do when things go wrong.
Yeah, upfront.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then write the code.
Yeah, and if something goes wrong in your code that doesn't show up in the test, don't fix the bug. First create a test that should have flagged the bug.
Exactly.
And if you do that diligently, then over time, you have this vast suite of tests.
I think
which make it very robust.
If we start programming now with AI and code generators, that will be really great model. So let's create a test language which is very efficient and have that as an input.
I have one agent that writes the tests for me now, and I have another one that writes the code that should pass those tests.
Yeah.
But they're separated. The one that gets to write the code doesn't get to write the test.
Yeah. So one is the BOF-H of the other.
Yeah.
That's the bastard operator from hell. That's it, right?
Something like that. I mean, it's really fascinating how old techniques come back in vogue again.
Yeah.
I mean, domain-driven design, right? I was both into it as a bit skeptical about that one in 2006 because what design isn't domain-driven? But hey, right? It's but that's now. I mean, it totally makes sense now when you have machines doing the menial work.
Yeah,
and we get to think about the domain.
Yeah,
and how to specify it. Yeah, and what's the language we use to describe the domain?
Yeah. All of a sudden, our soft language can shape things. Things in ways that we don't expect, right? Yeah. So, our natural language, as we use it right now, is very ambivalent. To the contrary of code, which is a language that's quite exact.
Yeah, and that's a super
with some exceptions.
And that's the reason why software projects fail.
Yeah.
Software projects fail because the subtlety of life falls through the crack of the formal language.
Yeah.
What programmers call an edge case is actually somebody's life, motherfucker. Yeah, I mean, that's an edge case. Or I used to do a project for the tax office.
Oh, yeah.
And we found that in legislation there are two paths to get to an outcome, two different outcomes.
Ooh.
And the civil servant said, "Well, the citizen will complain if it is wrong."
Yeah, but this is a very common way to think about it.
Yeah.
So, bringing it back to destructive innovation. I find that our government in the Netherlands, they have this particular approach to pretty much all the things they introduce. So they have a project, they build it. So somebody has a great idea, or arbitrary NID. They say, okay, let's make it a project. A budget is shapen, and some other party is building it, and they introduce it without checking. So there was this big upheaval of using algorithms to select people that might be a little bit devious with the budgets that they got from government.
Yeah.
And so they wrote this algorithm. They basically made the list of people that might or might not be devious, and they built them. They basically they said, okay, so we're giving you notes that you need to reimburse the money that you got or whatever kind of thing, or you even got a penalty and stuff like that. And this was wrong because the algorithm that wasn't tested at all spit out a list of people that were predominantly brown. And so there was this very racist skew on this particular algorithm, not intentionally, but it just was it that way. And rather than testing the algorithm first to see whether or not the list is actually okay or valid, they just threw it out. And now they find out, now they need to deal with the ramifications, which is interesting, right? It's an interesting approach to do things. Uber basically used this particular algorithm. They just put it in a market. It destroyed pretty much all the entirety of taxi life in many big cities. And they let governments and the taxi people themselves solve the problem afterwards, solve the damage that has been done, and basically gobbled it up, right? But this is very costly if you look at it on the individual basis. It is not acceptable when you see that an individual is all of a sudden without money, marriage broke, all kinds of personal things going wrong because they all of a sudden have a problem that they didn't create at scale because algorithm. And so government in this case said, okay, oops, we'll start thinking about making a solution.
Yeah.
This algorithm is basically a prime example of destructive innovation. It is something that's not tested enough or didn't have like the things, the cushioning around the project to make sure it actually would have had the effect that we intended to have.
Yeah, I just would call it destructive, not even innovation. I mean, it's the...
Well, it was something new, right? Rather than having people doing it, they basically asked an algorithm or created an algorithm to do the same job.
Yeah.
And indeed, it is not innovation as we would say, but innovation, for all intents and purposes, doing something new with different means.
Yeah, I mean, this reminds me of the book Seeing Like a State by George C. Scott.
Okay.
I probably mentioned that. There will be in there.
So the reason, by the way, that we say link in the show notes is because we got a transcript and we just need to search for that particular word so we can put it in the show notes.
No, it's a great book. It's and I think I must have mentioned that several times.
Yeah.
But the primary thesis, the way I read that book, is that states or governments want to make their citizens legible to them.
Yeah.
That they can see them, that they can see them. Right, and that's why we become numbers and we get numbers assigned to us, and that's why we are citizens, not people, but citizens.
Yeah, exactly.
That need to fit into the bigger scheme of government.
Yeah,
and everything that doesn't fit into the bigger scheme of government is literally not seen. Doesn't exist.
Yeah, it's the machine eating the driver, right? It's so interesting.
Yeah, it's the. Interesting is the interesting word here.
Well, we could say there are now design methodologies that kind of pull back from that notion, right? It's a machine should not create a new word list of how, from their point of view, the outside world looks like. Basically, creating that. Lexical chasm, right?
Yeah.
Because I've worked with governmental people and they're lovely people, but it seems like their perspective change once they start working on a project, and it's kind of intentionally. It's like a cultural thing. It seems like.
Yeah.
So, to give you an example, they start talking about citizens rather than people.
Yeah.
And to me, that is.
Which I found shocking, by the way.
It is, but it is shocking. But it is also a coping mechanism. It's a way for them to create a healthy distance between the things they do, which affect the world significantly, but also have like a common, I don't know, I think it's more of a commonality between the governmental workers and the people they actually work for. But it is something that they need to be aware of. And I think they are looking at the products that they make, like, for example, that implementation of the algorithm. It is not sufficiently being listened to, right? It's not. They shouldn't talk about students or citizens or whatever kind of thing. It's humans. The context of the people they influence is bigger than just their banking account, for example.
But that's for every system.
Yeah,
digital or otherwise, right?
Yeah.
And that's and that's my beef with this kind of thinking.
Yeah,
all the details and nuance and nitty gritty of modern life or just life is unseen. Is made unseen.
Exactly.
Right. And if it rears its head, it's called an ugly head because it conflicts with our understanding of the world.
Yeah.
And it needs to be eradicated. Right. It's called a bug or an edge case or a 1 in 1,000 that we can't be bothered with.
Yeah,
it's actually reality.
It's a productivity statistic.
Yeah, that's it. Ugh. And that's why I love this new wave of technology that has this nitty-grittiness.
Yeah. So it has a cushion, if you will. It can go to, so for, let's say we have AI, right? We use AI for systems to mold themselves to the lives of, for example, edge cases.
Yeah.
So would you envision that the product would change itself for these particular individuals? So that the edge case basically doesn't exist. The edge case is well handled rather than being the exception.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's nice to say broad stroke, right? I think, but it's at least the edge case is embedded in a technology that it's one big edge case.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's and we call it a jagged frontier, right? But basically, that's just edge cases all over.
Yeah.
It's great here, and then 1 second it's really bad there. I mean, how? How can
it's like a whack-a-mole.
How can you be PhD level and then 9-year-old? That's what I mean, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's and.
Sorry, there's this wonderful. So, do you know Henry Rollins?
Do I know Henry Rollins?
Singer of Black Flag? Lovely. Yeah, it's very nice. So basically, he has this little act, and it kind of plays into what you say. He talks about his time on the airport. So he's basically standing in a row for people to board a plane, and his observation was that people in line with their ticket. Before they step into line, they're like wonderful people, socialized, they're smart people, etc.
Yeah.
And once they step into the line, they're morons.
Yeah.
And
see, it's life.
And it's such a poignant point to make because it's true, right? You see it, and the behavior that he spots is like the ticket and where you need to see because the seat is on your ticket. And he observed like people walking into the aisle of the plane, looking at the ticket, looking at the chairs, looking at it, and it's like repetitively each and everything. Yeah. They start checking first the ticket and then I mean, you will be able to remember like a number from 1 to 50.
Yeah.
Right. And but it's not. It's like we indeed change into morons in specific settings.
Yeah.
And it's so wonderful.
Yeah. But it is. Right? It's mankind at least.
Yeah.
And probably life.
Yeah. I think it is life. And it's kind of like can we go to the next topic?
Well, sure.
Because so I read a book a while ago. Yeah, a book. I don't really read that much, apparently. And it is the book about the big Facebook kerfuffle that their data was being harvested by an extra Cambridge Analytica, I think.
Yeah.
And this writer worked at Cambridge Analytica, and he had this interesting cross interest of fashion, politics, and policy. And
that's a nice Venn diagram.
It is. It actually is. So, and to give you like the best expression of that is fascism. So fascism has a dress code. And to be, if you regard it without all the bad aspects, it's pretty sharp, right? It's like everybody's basically well dressed, and actually they put a lot of effort in it to create like this heroic suits for the powerful people, including the army and stuff like that. They basically exude power and also imply the role of the people that don't wear such things.
Especially that, yeah.
And so he talks about it that this is not an accident. It is by design. And this is interesting to me because at this moment we have this very informal society. We don't have dress codes per se. I mean, we do. We have like niche cultures. We have people with piercings and with colored hair.
Yeah.
We have people that can be considered punk. But basically we have this melange of, let's say, meh.
Yeah, beige.
Yeah, beige.
Yeah.
Indeed, beige is the most acceptable color at this moment. Not per se the color, but let's say the sentiment of the color. And to me, it's like, okay, so we are now entering in a society that is influenced by AI. Is there a way, one, for AI to basically create like an aesthetic in culture, like our clothing, the way our houses look like, the way we interact with each other and stuff like that? Can we see like the telltale signs already, or how might that look like? I mean, this is basically an open question because we can't answer it because we're in the middle of it, right? Most of the time it's something that you can see retroactively or in a very abrupt way, like, for example, fascism.
Yeah.
But to me, that's very interesting. And to the other way around, can we also design a culture and a society, like the aesthetics, but also the things that we do, so we can create specific behavior from people? And let's say flower power is an anti-reaction to like the very formal 50s and 60s, like productivity, stay in line, put your head down, work hard, etc.
Yeah.
But flower power is like the reaction to that, and also expresses itself through like all kinds of things. And I'm still wondering, it's like, so can we shape that? Can we now introduce things into society that we can, for example, reintroduce color to not also have our clothes be not beige, but also our minds be less beige? Because we are very conformant. We are very kind of like neutered in how we can deal with society. We can see that with all kinds of like mental issues that we encounter these days more and more, I think. I'm not an expert. And I like a society to be resilient, to be a little bit more independent. I don't know. I'm rambling at this moment.
I don't know. I mean, but if I look at my Instagram feed, I see a whole stream of various aesthetics coming by.
Yeah.
So it's I'm not going to name them because I'm not going to tell you the stuff I watch. But.
Oh, yeah. So we won't expose you guys.
No, I mean, but it covers the spectrum from let's call it the Russian gold digger style.
Oh yeah,
all the way to 90s goth and anything. I mean, that's my biggest. I mean, that actually young people dress the way I dressed in the 80s.
Yeah. There's this cyclical behavior.
Yeah, which is really amazing.
Yeah,
and they copied it to a T.
Yeah.
I mean, just as an.
But now it's considered like a. Well, it was before, of course, but it's a uniform, right? It's similar. It's similar to punk.
Yeah, well, it's more of a signal than a uniform because when I did it, there was one crucial sin, and it is to copy someone.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's the.
You want to be a unique individual.
I'm unique.
So you dress like your peers.
I'm unique. No, I'm not. That's
You're all individuals. I'm not.
I'm not. That's right. Is that Monty Python?
It is Monty Python, The Life of Brian.
Yeah, your individuals.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's a really good one. The Judean people front.
Yeah. You mean the people front of the
Judea? I want to be called Loretta.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to stop now. See, I never can stop quoting Monty Python. Once I quoted Monty Python.
But it is just a very nice source of culture. It basically this is one of the main things, right? It openly criticized like things like religion, which was very at that moment in time. It was quite risque.
Yeah,
and but at the same time, we lived in a society that this was not per se acceptable, but it was welcomed.
Yeah. Sufficiently so that the movie got made and nobody got killed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
yeah.
Which you probably, it isn't a given that wouldn't happen today.
No.
Right?
I mean, we have seen that, like people making cartoons of certain icons that may not be portrayed as icons. Yeah.
So I mean, back to, I have no idea, because I was thinking, what did the internet do to aesthetics? Is there an internet aesthetic? Is there a World Wide Web aesthetic? If anything, I would say that's the baseness of things. Because I'm always surprised that when I see people in China, for instance, young people, is that they dress like young people here in the Netherlands.
Oh. How so? What would be an example?
Literally the same. I mean, the same brands, the same clothes, the same trousers, the same hoodies. It's the it's literally
so we
the
globalized fashion.
It's the. I'm just shocked how. Even niches.
Yeah.
I mean, that I see Japanese people dressing as 80s London goths, for instance.
Yeah.
And to a T. And vice versa. There is a certain also Japanese cyber goth style that now everybody, at least in my circles, dresses up at when we go out and have fun.
Okay.
It's the it's a niche, but it's global.
Yeah.
And I'm always really surprised how uniform that looks like. I mean, I didn't expect to see a shot from somewhere in China in one of the many large cities and literally see people dressed as people dress when I go out of this building.
Might that be just mass, like the industrialization and also copy? Let's say that we can make specific pieces of clothing for quite cheap.
Yeah,
but also make it like a mass product pretty fast. I mean, we've seen in China that the factories that made like both clothing, fashion things, but also technology. It's like when they're finished, when they're out of contract with their customer, they basically made the same product and use the same molds to make the fake thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like it's way to optimize.
Yeah, in an industrial way. So this is just industrial capitalism as it was meant to be. Okay, that may sound. I wanted to sound profound, but
well, it is profound, but it's also kind of funny, right? It's like, no, we don't. I mean, we do. It happened to be this case. It's like we intended indeed to be things to be cheap and repetitive, things to be very customizable at a certain point. But it has negative effects. It has like the digital sameness or just sameness.
Yeah.
The beigeness of society.
Maybe that's also just creative destruction, right? You create something and destroy something. In order to create something, you need to destroy something.
Yeah.
If you make something new, you lose something. If you can see something new, you can unsee some things you could see before.
Yeah, but that kind of leans more into the nature of things, right? It's like, of course, when you introduce something, like for example, if you buy a new sweater, of course you will wear it more often than your old sweater, right? But it doesn't mean that your old sweater doesn't exist anymore. And that is kind of like my point. It's like the old sweater was also a fine sweater. You also want to.
Yeah, but it went out of style because the new style made the old sweater look ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly.
So it doesn't exist, but it isn't viable anymore. You can literally not be seen in it anymore. You want to unsee it.
Yeah. Yeah, this is something I really need to think about this a little bit more.
Yeah, me too.
Because this is to me this is very interesting. So I really want to lean more into the design culture aspect of what technology and digital does.
Yeah.
Funny enough, like a couple of years, like a relevant amount of years ago, one of our former colleagues, Henk Heima, wrote like a small book, or I think like a magazine kind of thing, leaning into digital sameness and addressing this in particular.
Yeah, big shout out to Henk.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Henk Heima is, well, I mean, we talk about it now and it kind of seems like a relevant topic at the moment still.
Yeah.
Or again.
Or especially now.
Yeah. So to me, that's it's quite interesting. So you also wanted to talk about our previous episodes.
Well, yeah, I mean, two things, right? I mean, in the previous episode, I had this idea of writing an editor.
Right, yes.
I wrote the editor.
Awesome.
No, I didn't write the editor. I manifested the editor and something wrote it for me. Took a bit longer than I thought because the Google Docs API is a bit more limited than I intuitively assumed.
Oh.
But I now have this little Markdown, it's Markdown editor that I write my things in there.
Yeah.
And then in the evening, AI comes by.
And start making sense of it.
and reads it.
Yeah.
And then asks questions about it.
Oh.
So it doesn't say, this is not clear or this is not that. It actually asks, why did you jump from A to X? And it's really fun. So nowadays,
nice.
Nowadays, I mean, it's just a week. Actually, it's just this weekend.
Yeah.
But this morning I woke up.
Had
my coffee at, I tend to be an early riser, so it was 5:30.
Oh, yeah.
So I had my first cup of coffee, 5:30, and I open up my little app, and I'm just wondering, I mean, that's a good thing. Why did I write this? Why didn't I mention that? Well, I mean, let's literally sit in there and think.
Yeah.
Right? And that's it's a really nice way of reviewing, not saying this is wrong or I don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you think this was understandable?
It's like a psychologist asking you things.
Yeah, totally, absolutely.
Yeah, or your therapist, I meant.
Yeah, that's and that's what we talked about. And you also wrote an article about in response to episode 11, right?
Yeah.
Which is the cool thing. By reading the article, I actually understood what we discussed in the episode. I mean,
it's my interpretation, right?
Yeah, sure. No, but I mean, totally. I mean, not to toot our own horn. But the fact that we converge on the fact that generative AI is not for automating the silly stuff and the stuff we don't like to do. Mm-hmm. It's actually to help us do the stuff we want to do, the creative stuff.
Yeah.
And not only as a passive participant, but as an active participant.
Yeah.
Because over the weekend, I used 3 different image models from OpenAI, Gemini, and Grok. To start creating the visuals for my presentations.
Oh.
Now, visuals in my presentations are a thing to me.
Yeah, this is something you take pride in.
Very.
Yeah.
Right? And now I thought, you know what, I'm going to try, let's see if it can make my visuals.
Okay.
And here was the thing. It's the... so what I actually learned over this weekend, probably about myself, right, is that you need to take yourself a bit out of the process. The more you specify very directly, I want this, make it.
Yeah.
It goes wrong.
Yeah, because it tries to do it and it doesn't, it fails.
Yeah.
So both your expectation becomes more precise, but also the noise in the model increases.
Yeah, but you give it an intention, you give it a context, principles about negative space, for instance, and the colors alike, and things to absolutely do, things to absolutely do not. Mm-hmm. Sit back and wait.
And did it work?
Yeah, fantastic.
I'm really keen to finding out. Could you include some?
I'm going to include some
examples.
Yeah, because I have been trying. Because what I'm not very good at is making 3D images. If I do always the isometric things, which I think are cute, but they're also easy to do.
It's a great aesthetic.
Yeah, but it's a simple algorithm, right? You just share and rotate, and look, it looks pseudo 3D. That appeals to me. But now I got more proper 3D things that also animate, which are basically 10-second videos. but I make them look like an animation.
So this kind of answers your transition, your magical transition.
Yeah. And the really thing is, I mean, it's the people always bitch and moan that these things cannot do X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
I actually don't think that these things are that limited in capabilities, but we are limited in skills, in enticing, unlocking capabilities. I mean, what I learned about myself is the skill to get through to these things.
Yeah.
It's the because I failed at Saturday morning, and I was rather happy Sunday afternoon.
Okay. So, and who changed? You changed.
I changed.
Yeah.
I learned the skill. No, I thought that this is really interesting. This is
interesting.
The limitation is my skill, and I hope everybody's skill. That is not just me, and not their capabilities.
So, do you think you might be a better? I mean, you teach at this moment, right? This is one of your main gigs.
Yeah.
So, do you think you might be a better, let's say, student prompter by doing this exercise?
Yeah, it's the that's a good one. I didn't think about this one.
It's like creating empathy in this case for an inanimate thing, but basically the practice is the same.
Yeah, I mean, so one of the things I learned when I started teaching last year, so innovation management for the first time, right? I kind of do and get innovation.
Yeah.
So I thought, I have all the materials.
Yeah.
So I thought, easy peasy.
Yeah.
Until I started writing the syllabus. And then to actually write a syllabus, there is a lot of white space that was just conveniently left blank, right? So I actually...
It's like the chapters with magic shit happens here.
Yeah, it's the to do or to be written, right? I mean, it's the or trivial. We'll do someday.
Yeah.
No, but I actually learned a whole bunch of stuff about innovation by teaching innovation.
Yeah.
It's really weird. Right, and this is the same thing. I actually learned a lot about what I want to express by trying to get the machine to express it.
Yeah.
So I really think that I will be a better storyteller, communicator, student prompter.
Yeah. Because
I'm prompting these manifestations of people, students.
Yeah.
Right, so it's I mean, as you can probably see, just flabbergasted about how fucking cool this technology is.
It is,
but
also that it's untapped, right?
It's
this huge misunderstanding of what this thing is.
So this morning I saw an interview with André Carpati. He's one of the more well-known link in show notes, but he communicates well for an scientist / tech person. No, he's really good at communicating.
He's got credentials, but he also communicates well.
Yes. And he said, and link will be in show notes, will also be in my Friday newsletter, because is that good a interview. That he was a bit of in a neurotic state because he couldn't stop coding nowadays. He was just coding for 16 hours. And I had the same thing, not coding, but in visualizing. I actually woke up at 4 a.m. this morning.
Yeah.
And I thought, what I'm going to do? I sneak out and play with my little mates and make some... Yeah, it's that bad. No, this really remembers me when I got my first home computers.
Yeah.
Because I was slightly addicted. I also would sneak out and start programming at the home computer that was in our living room and turn the television, the brightness down, because otherwise my parents would see it.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe this works. Oh, if I say this, maybe then it works. I should have done this.
Yeah.
It's this whole unlocking things.
Yeah.
And for 20 years, I understood my medium, and the only limitation just I have to do it and I have to press this and
now there's a new medium basically.
There was a new medium, and I have to learn what I have to learn.
Yeah. I've heard this similar story with, but he didn't reflect on it with Alexander Klupping of the AI report. Link in the show notes. I think it's kind of lovely. It seems like to basically articulate the thoughts they already had, but nevertheless it's very interesting. But he also had this exact story. He's like, I don't spend more time in programming like AI agents or whatever kind of thing he's making, but he did say he enjoyed more of the time doing that. He basically was, like you said, more enticed, like, hey, if this is possible, then something else might also be possible. Yeah. And then he starts tinkering, basically.
Yeah, indeed. I think it's the time spent to having fun ratio.
Yeah.
Is massively higher. It is massively lower. Okay. Fun to time spent ratio.
It's
is
very fun.
It's very fun.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a meeting that was got 10 minutes short today. The first thing I did is, don't laugh. It's that bad. The first thing I did is, I have 10 minutes to play with Gemini.
So in the previous episode, I kind of like mused on that thought that this might be very addictive, similar to social media, I
say literally too much. But I'm kind of worried that I'm addicted or about to get addicted because my behavior this weekend was not normal. If only because my girlfriend told me.
Okay, so we got 5 more minutes. Let's step into that.
Therapy.
Yeah. No, not therapy. I heard this wonderful thing. So I listened to this podcast. It's called No Agenda. It's like 2 people that are about 10 and 20 years older than I am. So they lived life, but they're still living it. And they're also very much interested in AI and new media and stuff like that. And one of them has this policy, which is put the mobile phone in your drawer. So not in your underwear, but in the place where you put the stuff that you will never use. Yeah. And that's basically how he does everything. And so they mused on an article or some text of somebody. I really don't know the source at the moment, but I'll try to figure it out. And this person says, we forget how to be bored. We are scared of being bored. But the wonderful thing that happens when we are bored is that we start reflecting on life. We start having our own thoughts. We basically both defrag our thoughts, right? Reorder and try to recombine them in new ways and start to figure out things that kind of like are important in our lives. But also enjoying that. Because boredom isn't doing nothing and being bothered by it, but boredom is an activity that should be is reinvigorating without us knowing. Right? We feel guilty if we feel bored, but boredom is important. So basically, the thesis was, let's create boredom by leaving our phone home when we go out and have a walk. Not putting on headphones in particular. So I'm looking at the ladies. And I know it's a very protective way to feel like, but it's also kind of unhealthy because you shut yourself off for the outside world. And the outside world is, in some cases, it's important to follow along, right? To get more social cues and stuff like that. So to opening up to boredom and basically having your mind active in a different way that you do with consuming media, with interacting through social media, for example. We as a nation kind of lost that, and we need to reintroduce that because it will have ramifications if we don't.
Yeah, I can see that.
And that might also lean into, because you say it's addictive, but I feel like it might be comfortable, right? More comfortable. It's a feeling that we know, and it's a feeling that we crave. That might be addictive.
It's a happy form of uncomfortableness.
Yeah. In your case, right?
In my case.
But it's like your type of person.
Yeah, probably.
Right? It's like you feel very comfortable in the unknown, is in figuring things out that people might be scared to figure out. Yeah. But similarly, I mean, there are lots of people that are comfortable in other things.
I know. They tell me.
Yeah, but so my thesis, the other episode, was the reward that we get doing these particular behaviors is similar to doom scrolling, is similar to eating a lot of amounts of sugar, is similar to doing dangerous stuff for people that like to do dangerous stuff. And we kind of like let that take over, and so the things that we forgot, the lexical gap, is that we forgot boredom and the very functional role it has in our lives.
Yeah.
So to me, it's like have a walk sometimes without any means of electronics. I will do this. So this is my experiment.
I'm gonna try that this week too.
And see what it delivers.
I'm gonna report out on episode 13. Seems like a very fitting episode number.
Yeah, the doom. We need to do this on a Friday somewhere. Let's see if we can sync up with the calendar.
Yeah.
So on that note, I guess,
that's another hour.
That's another hour. I really enjoyed this one. I think I talked too much. So next time you need to prepare something. No. It's very nice, and I'm really looking forward to 13.
Me too.
And thank you so much for this lovely conversation.
Thank you, Pete. Likewise.
Right. See you later. Oh, by the way, make sure to visit itsjustamodel.com. You'll find information of Ron, but also the show notes, very important. And let's stay in touch. Next time. Ciao.
Next time. Bye-bye.